I stood in the doorway holding takeout boxes from Mia's favorite Italian place. Our anniversary. 5 years married. I'd left work early to surprise her. The house was quiet except for giggling coming from upstairs. My stomach dropped. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step heavier than the last. The bedroom door was cracked open. I pushed it wider and saw them. Mia and Ryan, my wife and my younger brother. Together, in our bed. Mia screamed and grabbed the sheets. Ryan froze like a deer in headlights. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The takeout boxes slipped from my hands and hit the floor with a wet thud. Evan, wait. It's not what it looks like. Mia shouted, her voice panicked. Ryan finally moved, reaching for his clothes scattered on the floor. He looked at me with wide eyes and said something that made my blood run cold. You weren't supposed to be home today. Not an apology, not shame, just annoyance that I'd interrupted their plan. I stood there staring at them both. Then I said 5 words that would change everything. You just changed everything. I turned and walked down the hallway. Behind me, I heard scrambling, footsteps, Mia calling my name. I made it to the kitchen before she caught up, wrapped in a bathrobe, hair messy, mascara smudged. Evan, please, let me explain, she begged. I leaned against the counter and crossed my arms. Explain what exactly? Ryan appeared behind her, fully dressed now, looking at the floor. Mia took a shaky breath. You've been so distant lately, working all the time. I felt alone, neglected. Ryan was just there for me when you weren't. My jaw clenched. She was blaming me for her cheating with my brother. So this is my fault? I asked quietly. That's not what I meant, she stammered. But it was. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Man, I'm sorry. We didn't plan this. I laughed, bitter and cold. You didn't plan it? Really? I walked past them toward the guest room down the hall. The door was open. I looked inside. The bed was unmade. Used. This isn't even our bed, I said, pointing. You used the guest room. That means you planned it. You chose this room, so I wouldn't know. Their faces went pale. I grabbed my keys and wallet and headed for the door. Mia grabbed my arm. Where you going? Away from here, I said, pulling free. Evan, we need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. I walked to my truck, got in, and sat there shaking. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I couldn't think. Couldn't process what I'd just seen. Then I heard a ping. I looked over at the passenger seat. Mia's tablet. She must have left it in my truck earlier. Another ping. A message notification lit up the screen. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. The messages were between Mia and Ryan. Months of them. Meeting times. Hotel names. Complaints about me. How boring I was. How Ryan made her feel alive. I scrolled back further. My chest tightened. Then I saw another message thread. Between Mia and my mother. My mother knew. She knew about the affair. And she encouraged it. One message made me feel sick. Ryan deserves happiness more than Evan anyway. I sat there staring at those words. So my whole family knew? I drove straight to my mother's house. She lived 20 minutes away in a home my father left her before he died 3 years ago. I didn't knock. I walked right in. She was in the living room watching television. Evan, what are you doing here? She asked, surprised. How long have you known? I demanded. Her face shifted. Guilty. Defensive. Known what? Don't play games with me. I saw the messages. You knew Mia was sleeping with Ryan. She sighed and turned off the TV. Sit down, Evan. I don't want to sit down. I want answers. She stood and faced me with cold eyes. Fine. Yes, I knew. Ryan told me months ago. He was conflicted. He needed guidance. Guidance? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He's sleeping with my wife. Because you're not giving her what she needs, she snapped. You're too serious. Too boring. Always working. Mia is young and full of life. Ryan is fun. He makes her happy. Can you blame her? I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. You're defending them. I'm being realistic. We were going to tell you after the holidays. Her face was calm. Matter of fact, like this was normal. Don't make this difficult, Evan. I stared at my own mother. Then I smiled. Oh, I won't. I checked into a cheap motel off the highway. The room smelled like old carpet and cleaning chemicals, but I didn't care. I sat on the bed and replayed everything in my mind. 5 years of marriage. How many times had I missed the signs? Late nights when Mia said she was with friends. Weekends when Ryan suddenly needed help with something. Family dinners where they sat too close. It all made sense now. I felt stupid, betrayed, angry. But beneath the anger was something else. Clarity. I pulled out my laptop and logged into our accounts. We had a joint business account I'd set up years ago for household expenses and investments. Mia had access to see the balance, but only I could authorize transfers. It was something my father taught me. Never put everything in both names. I checked the recent activity. My stomach dropped again. Over the past 3 months, there were withdrawals I didn't recognize. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. Restaurants, hotels, cash withdrawals. They were using my money to fund their affair, and they thought I'd never notice. I opened a new tab and started researching divorce lawyers. Then I opened another tab and logged into my personal banking. I had work to do. The business account had $83,000 in it, money I'd saved from years of bonuses and side consulting work, money that was supposed to go toward buying a bigger house, starting a family, building a future. Instead, Mia and Ryan had been slowly draining it. I looked at the withdrawal history again. 4,000 here, 2,000 there, 700 at a boutique hotel downtown. They weren't even trying to hide it anymore. They thought I was too busy to notice, too trusting to check. They were right about one thing. I had been too trusting, but that ended tonight. I clicked through the transfer options, selected all funds, entered the routing number for a new account I'd opened at a different bank last year when I started my consulting side business. An account Mia didn't know existed. I hovered over confirm button for just a second. Then I clicked it. Transfer complete. $83,000. Gone. Moved to an account only I controlled. I closed the laptop and lay back on the bed. For the first time since I'd walked through that door, I felt something other than pain. I felt power. My phone rang 20 minutes later. Mia. I let it ring 4 times before answering. What? I said flatly. Why is the money gone? She screamed. What money? Don't play dumb. Evan, the business account. It's empty. What did you do? I smiled even though she couldn't see me. I moved my money to my account because I'm done sponsoring your affair. Silence. Then you can't do that. That's our money. Actually, it's my money. The account is in my name. You just had viewing access. Check the paperwork. She was breathing hard, panicked. Evan, please. We need that money. We have bills. The mortgage is due next week. That sounds like a you problem now. You're being ridiculous. Am I? Or am I finally waking up? She changed tactics. Her voice went soft, pleading. Baby, listen. I know you're hurt, but we can fix this. We can work through this. I'll end things with Ryan. We'll go to therapy. We'll start over. Too late, I said. Then she said something that made my blood boil. Fine. You want the truth? The plan was to make you leave anyway. Ryan was going to move in full time. We were just waiting for the right moment. Silence. She realized what she just admitted. Evan, I didn't mean I tapped the screen. Recording saved. The next morning, I met with a divorce attorney named Patricia Morales. She was in her 50s, sharp-eyed, and came highly recommended by a co-worker. I sat across from her desk and told her everything. The affair, the family's betrayal, the financial abuse. Then I played the recording from last night. Mia's voice admitting they planned to force me out. Patricia listened carefully. When the recording ended, she leaned back in her chair and smiled. Not a happy smile. A predator's smile. Mr. Torres, you have an incredibly strong case, she said. Adultery, conspiracy, financial abuse, emotional distress. With this evidence, we can protect all your assets and potentially sue for damages. How far can we take this? I asked. She folded her hands on the desk. That depends. How far do you want to take this? I thought about Mia's face when she screamed at me on the phone, about my mother defending them, about Ryan saying I wasn't supposed to be home, about 5 years of my life wasted on people who never really loved me. I looked Patricia in the eyes. All the way. She nodded and opened a file. Then let's get started. We spent 2 hours going over documents, bank statements, text messages, photos, timelines. Everything I had, I gave her. This is more than enough, she said finally. I'll file the papers tomorrow. I shook her hand and left the office feeling lighter than I had in years. That evening, someone knocked on my motel room door. I looked through the peephole and saw Ryan. He was alone, crying. I opened the door but didn't let him in. What do you want? He wiped his face with his sleeve. Can we talk? Please, talk fast. I'm sorry, Evan. I really am. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It just happened. It just happened? For months. He looked at the ground. I know it sounds bad, but you have to understand. Mia and we connected. It was real. Real. I laughed. You slept with my wife. Ryan, you betrayed me. And now you want sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I just want you to understand. And maybe not destroy my reputation over this. There it was. The real reason he came. Mom told me you're planning to expose everything, he continued. I'm begging you. Don't. I'll do anything. I'll even tell everyone it was all Mia's fault, that she seduced me. Just please don't ruin my life. I stared at my younger brother, the same brother I protected growing up, the same brother I lent money to, helped get jobs, supported through breakups, and this was how he repaid me. Oh, we're past negotiations, I said. Then I closed the door in his face. The next day, I had an appointment I'd been dreading. I drove to the office of Bernard Hayes, my late father's attorney. My father died 3 years ago from a heart attack. He left behind a small but successful construction business and the family home where my mother still lived. Or so I thought. Bernard greeted me warmly. He was an older man, gray-haired, with kind eyes. Evan, it's good to see you. I was sorry to hear about your troubles. News traveled fast in our small circle. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I need to ask you something about my father's will. Of course. The business and the house. Who did he leave them to? Bernard's face changed. Confused. He left them to you, Evan. Everything. The business. The property. All of it. I felt dizzy. What? But my mother said Ryan was inheriting the business. That's why he's been working there, training to take over. Bernard's expression darkened. Your mother hid the documents. She never filed the proper paperwork. She'd been operating under false pretenses. He opened his filing cabinet and pulled out a thick folder. Inside was my father's original signed will. Clear as day. Everything to Evan Torres. She told Ryan he was the heir? Bernard asked. Yes. He shook his head sadly. I'm sorry, son, but legally it's all yours. Always has been. He handed me the folder. Here's everything you need. Armed with legal documents of my father's will, I drove to the house I'd shared with Mia. My house. The house I bought before we even met. The house I'd stupidly added her name to when we got married because I thought we'd be together forever. I used my key and walked inside. The living room looked different. New furniture. New paint. Pictures of Mia and Ryan together on the walls. My jaw clenched. They'd redecorated. Made it theirs. Using my money. Ryan came down the stairs, surprised. Evan, what are you doing here? I live here, I said. Actually, I own here. Mia appeared behind him. You can't just barge in like this. I held up the legal documents. According to these papers, this house is in my name. The deed, the mortgage, everything. You have 48 hours to move out. Legally. Ryan's face went white. You can't kick us out. I can, and I am. If you're not gone by Friday at 6 p.m., I'll have the sheriff remove you. Mia's hands were shaking. Where are we supposed to go? I don't care, I said coldly. Figure it out. You're good at planning behind my back. I turned and walked toward the door. Oh! And don't take anything that isn't yours. I have cameras now. I left them standing there in shock. Thursday night, Mia showed up at the motel. I heard her knocking softly. When I opened the door, she looked different. Hair done, makeup perfect, wearing the dress I'd always loved. Evan, she said softly, can I come in? No, please. I need to talk to you. Against my better judgment, I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. She moved closer. Too close. I made a mistake, she whispered. A terrible mistake. I don't love Ryan. I love you. I always have. Her hand touched my chest. We can fix this. Start over. Forget everything that happened. For a moment, I almost believed her. Almost. Then I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Her voice filled the air. Laughing with my mother. Mocking me. Calling me boring. Saying Ryan was better in bed. All the things I'd found in the messages. Her face crumbled as she listened. The mask fell away. Where did you get that? She whispered. Does it matter? I put the phone away. You never loved me, Mia. You loved what I could give you. The house. The money. The stability. And when that wasn't enough, you found someone more exciting. But you wanted to keep me around to pay for it all. Tears ran down her face. Real ones this time. You've lost all your leverage. I said, we're done. Friday morning, my mother stormed into the motel lobby. The clerk pointed her to my room. She pounded on the door until I opened it. What did you do? She screamed. You need to be more specific. You're evicting Ryan and Mia. You're taking the business. You're ruining this family. I leaned against the doorframe. I'm ruining the family? That's rich coming from you. You're being selfish. Vindictive. I'm being honest. For the first time in my life, I'm putting myself first. She stepped closer, her voice low and threatening. You stop this right now, Evan, or you'll regret it. I pulled out another envelope, the one from Bernard Hayes. Do you know what this is? Her eyes widened. Dad's will. The real one. The one you hid so Ryan could take over the business. Her face went pale. How did you? Doesn't matter. What matters is you've been operating that business illegally for 3 years, collecting profits, making decisions, all without legal authority. I handed her the envelope. This is your official eviction notice from the family business office you've been illegally occupying. You have 30 days. She stared at the paper, hands trembling. You can't do this to me. I'm your mother. You stopped being my mother when you chose Ryan over me. I closed the door. Ryan tried to save his reputation. He called friends, posted on social media, made himself the victim, told everyone I was overreacting, that I was cruel, that I was tearing the family apart over a mistake. But I'd been preparing for this. I created a simple post. No commentary, no emotions, just facts, screenshots of messages, dates of hotel visits, bank withdrawal records, the recording of Mia admitting their plan. I posted it where mutual friends could see. Then I let it speak for itself. Within hours, the responses poured in. Friends who'd known us for years were horrified. People who'd attended our wedding unfriended Mia and Ryan. His co-workers saw it. His boss saw it. By evening, Ryan's phone was blowing up, not with support, with disgust. He left me a voicemail at midnight. His voice was shaking with rage. You're destroying my life. Everyone thinks I'm a monster. I can't show my face anywhere. This is all your fault. You're a vindictive piece of garbage and you'll pay for this. I saved the voicemail, added it to the folder Patricia was building, evidence of harassment, just in case, because I knew this was far from over. Monday morning, I got a call from First National Bank. A fraud alert. Mr. Torres, we're calling about a loan application submitted in your name, the representative said. A loan application? I didn't apply for any loan. That's why we're calling. The application was flagged because the signature didn't match our records. Someone attempted to take out $50,000 using your information. My blood ran cold. Who submitted it? Orion Torres, listed as your brother. He claimed to have power of attorney. I closed my eyes. He doesn't have power of attorney. He never did. We suspected as much. The application was denied. But given the circumstances, we recommend filing a police report for identity theft. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called Patricia. Ryan tried to take out a loan in my name. That's identity theft. A felony. I know. Do you want to press charges? I thought about my little brother. The one I protected, supported, loved. The one who betrayed me in the worst way possible. Then tried to steal from me. Yes, I said. Filed a report. Patricia promised to handle it. By the end of the day, a formal fraud report was filed with local police. A detective was assigned to the case. Ryan had crossed a line he couldn't uncross. Wednesday afternoon, I was back at the house packing the last of my things when police cars pulled up outside. I watched through the window as two officers walked to the door. Ryan answered. They talked for a moment. Then Ryan's face went pale. One officer turned him around and put handcuffs on his wrists. Mia appeared in the doorway, confused. What's happening? Ryan, identity theft. One officer said loud enough for me to hear. Mr. Torres attempted to fraudulently obtain a loan using his brother's personal information. Ryan's head whipped toward the house. He saw me standing in the window. Our eyes met. I had nothing to do with it. Mia suddenly shouted at the officers. I didn't know he was doing that. This is all him. Ryan's face twisted in betrayal. Mia, I'm not going down for your crimes, she snapped. The officers led Ryan to the patrol car. Neighbors had come out to watch. Phones were recording. Ryan was put in the back seat, head down, hands cuffed. Mia stood in the doorway, watching him go. When the cars drove away, she looked at the house. At me. I turned away from the window. Let her stand there alone. She'd made her choice. That evening, Mia called me 17 times. I didn't answer. Finally, she showed up at my truck as I was leaving the house with another load of boxes. Evan, please, she begged. I need help. I can't pay the mortgage alone. I don't have anywhere to go. Just let me stay in the house until I get back on my feet. I loaded the last box into the truck bed. No, please, I'll pay you back. I'll get a job. I'll do anything. You should have thought about that before you destroyed our marriage. I made a mistake. Mistake? You planned this for months. You stole from me. You and Ryan were going to force me out of my own life. She was crying now, desperate. Where am I supposed to go? I pulled out one more envelope. The last one. Do you remember signing a prenup? Her face went blank. We didn't sign a prenup. We did. 3 years ago when we refinanced the house. I had the lawyer include updated terms. You signed it without reading. I handed her the document. Her hands shook as she opened it. Her face went white as she read. This says I get nothing. No house. No money. Nothing. That's right. You tricked me. I protected myself. You signed it willingly. Just like you willingly destroyed our marriage. I got in my truck. Mia collapsed against the driveway, still holding the papers. I drove away without looking back. A week later, I met with an old friend named Carlos who worked in private security. He'd helped me install cameras around the house before the eviction. I found something you need to see, Carlos said, handing me a flash drive. What is it? Security footage from the house. From before you installed the new system. This is from the old cameras you had in the garage and front door. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop. The video was dated 4 months ago. Late evening. A car pulled into my driveway. My mother got out. Then Ryan. They stood by the car talking. I couldn't hear the audio, but I could read their lips enough to understand. They were planning something. My mother handed Ryan a folder. Documents. He nodded, said something, then hugged her. The next clip was from inside the garage. My mother and Ryan going through boxes labeled important papers. They were searching for something. My father's will, business documents. They thought they'd find what they needed to push me out. They've been planning this for months, Carlos said quietly. Maybe longer. I stared at the screen. This goes deeper than I thought. Carlos nodded. What are you going to do? I closed the laptop. I'm going to finish what they started. I spent the next 2 weeks auditing my father's business with the help of an independent forensic accountant named Marcus Chun. We went through every transaction from the past 3 years. Every invoice. Every payment. Every deposit. The numbers didn't add up. Payments to vendors that didn't exist. Expense reports for materials never purchased. Cash withdrawals with vague explanations. My mother had been embezzling thousands of dollars every month, funneling it to herself and Ryan. Over 3 years, it added up to more than $200,000. This is felony theft, Marcus said, showing me the spreadsheet. She's been systematically stealing from the company to support your brother. Can we prove it in court? Absolutely. The paper trail is clear. Bank records don't lie. I called Patricia. Sent her everything. This changes everything, she said after reviewing the documents. We're not just talking about a family dispute anymore. This is criminal. What's the next step? We present this to the board of directors. Force a vote. Remove her from all positions. Then we decide if we want to press charges. I thought about my mother, the woman who raised me, who I'd loved and trusted my entire life, the woman who chose Ryan over me, who helped destroy my marriage, who stole from my father's legacy. Schedule a meeting, I said. The board meeting was held at the company office. 5 board members. My mother, me, and Patricia as my legal counsel. My mother walked in confident. She thought this was just a formality, that I'd back down like I always did. The board president called the meeting to order. Then I stood and presented the evidence. Financial statements, bank records, security footage of her and Ryan planning, proof of embezzlement. Her face changed as I spoke. Confidence became confusion, then panic. This is absurd, she shouted. Evan is lying. He's vindictive because of his divorce. Patricia stood. Mrs. Torres, these are certified financial records, verified by an independent accountant. The evidence is clear. You've been stealing from this company for 3 years. The board members reviewed the documents, whispered among themselves. Finally, the president spoke. Mrs. Torres, this is extremely serious. If these allegations are true, we have no choice but to remove you from all positions effective immediately. You can't do this, she screamed. I built this company with my husband. Actually, I said calmly, my father built this company. You've been destroying it. The vote was unanimous. She was removed from all positions, banned from the premises. Security escorted her out as she screamed threats and curses. I watched her go without emotion. You'll regret this, Evan, she shouted from the parking lot. I turned away. I already knew I wouldn't. 3 weeks later, I received a letter from the county jail. From Ryan. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. The letter was handwritten, messy, desperate. Evan, I know you probably hate me. I deserve it, but I need you to know the truth. Mom put me up to this. All of it. She's been pressuring me since Dad died to take over the business. She said you weren't capable, that you were weak, that I deserved it more. When I told her I felt guilty about you, she said you'd be fine, that you need the family. She introduced me to Mia at a family dinner on purpose, encouraged us to spend time together, told Mia that you were planning to leave her anyway. She orchestrated everything to push you out and put me in your place. I was stupid. I was weak. I let her manipulate me. I'm not making excuses. What I did was unforgivable. But I wanted you to know it wasn't just me. She used both of us. I'm sorry, Evan, for everything. Ryan. I read the letter 3 times. Then I took it to Patricia. If this is true, your mother is guilty of conspiracy and fraud, Patricia said. Ryan's testimony could be valuable. Do you believe him? That's up to you. The divorce was finalized on a cold Tuesday morning. Mia didn't show up to the hearing. She'd signed the papers and accepted the terms. No assets. No alimony. No reconciliation. Just a clean break. Patricia also finalized a fraud case. With Ryan's letter and all the evidence, the charges against my mother moved forward. The business was legally mine. The house was legally mine. Everything my father had built was protected. I sat in Patricia's office, afterwards signing the final documents. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Relieved," I said honestly, "and tired. You've been through a lot, but you handled it well. You protected yourself without becoming vindictive. I just wanted the truth to come out." She smiled. "It did, and you won." A few days later, Mia received her official court notice in the mail. Case closed. Dissolution of marriage granted. She called me one last time. "I hope you're happy," she said bitterly. "I'm not happy," I replied, "but I'm free. That's enough." She hung up. I blocked her number, deleted every photo, every message, every trace of her from my life. It was over. Finally over. 2 months later, Ryan was released from jail on probation. He'd spent 60 days inside for the identity theft charge. When he got out, he had nothing. No job, no home, no family support. My mother refused to help him, blaming him for exposing her crimes. He was alone. I heard through mutual friends that he was staying at a shelter, working odd jobs, barely surviving. Part of me felt satisfaction. He destroyed my life, and now his was destroyed too. But another part of me felt something else. Not forgiveness. Not quite, but maybe understanding. One evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Evan." Ryan's voice. Quiet. Broken. "What do you want?" I know I have no right to ask. But can we talk? Just once. In person. Every instinct told me to say no. To hang up. To let him suffer alone like I'd suffered. But I thought about my father. About what he would have done. One conversation. I said, "That's all." We met at a coffee shop the next day. Ryan looked terrible. Thinner. Older. Tired. We sat across from each other in silence. Finally, he spoke. "Thank you for agreeing to see me." Ryan stared at his coffee cup, hands wrapped around it like it was the only solid thing in his world. "I don't expect you to forgive me," he started. "I don't deserve it. What I did was unforgivable." I didn't respond. Just waited. Mom told me from the time Dad died that I was supposed to take over. That I was the one Dad really wanted running things. That you were too soft. Too emotional. She said it every day until I believed it. He looked up at me with red eyes. "I always felt like I was in your shadow. You were Dad's favorite. The smart one. The successful one. I was just the screw-up little brother. When Mom told me I deserved the business, it felt like finally someone saw me." "So you destroyed my marriage to feel important?" I asked coldly. He flinched. "No, that wasn't about the business. That was me being weak and selfish." Mia paid attention to me, made me feel wanted, and I convinced myself it was okay, because Mom said you didn't really love her anyway. I did love her. "I know. I'm sorry." We sat in silence. Finally, I spoke. "I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. Because holding on to this anger is destroying me too." I pushed an envelope across the table. "What's this?" "A fresh start. There's information about a construction job 3 states away. Good pay. Clean slate. No one knows you there." His hands shook as he opened it. "Why would you help me?" "Because despite everything, you're still my brother. And I'm choosing to let go." Tears ran down his face. "What happens now?" Ryan asked quietly. "Now, you leave. You build a new life. And you never contact me again." He nodded, understanding. "Thank you, Evan." He stood and walked away. I watched him go, feeling lighter, not because I'd forgiven him, but because I'd freed myself. The final piece fell into place 3 weeks later. I stood in my lawyer's office with Patricia and a representative from the Family Justice Foundation. "Mr. Torres, your donation is extraordinarily generous," the representative said. "This will help hundreds of people recover from family betrayal and abuse." I decided to donate a portion of the company's profits to a foundation, supporting people recovering from exactly what I'd been through. Families destroyed by lies. People betrayed by those they trusted most. My father built something good. I said, I want to honor that. Turn something painful into something meaningful. Patricia smiled. Your father will be proud. That afternoon, I sent 2 certified letters. One to Mia, one to my mother. The letters were identical. Short, final. You are permanently banned from all properties and business operations associated with Torres Construction. Any attempt to contact me or violate this order will result in legal action. This is your final notice. Do not contact me again. I mailed them and felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just peace. That evening, I stood in the doorway of my house. My house. Finally, truly mine. I cleaned out every reminder, Mia. Repainted the walls. Replaced the furniture. Made it my own. I thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal. The pain. The fight to take back my life. And I realized something. This wasn't the end of my story. This was the beginning. I closed the door, locked it, and smiled. This is where my story really begins.